if you didn't know, so May is National Physical Fitness and Sports Month, which is
Oh, I
why we
love
are
that.
kicking off with some seated strength. So I thought this is a really great introduction to how we can build that muscle, right? You can lift heavy things, Sue.
I am, and doing it all the time because of Erin. I am upping my weights.
That's right.
That's right. We were at a speaker convention and I'm seeing Erin, I'm working out, and Erin's working out, and her weights are twice the size of my weights. And I'm like, hmm, I think I gotta challenge myself a little bit more.
You can do it. I know. I
I
know. Well, this will
can
be a
do
great
it.
introduction. And we have the expert to teach us how to move safely, how to make sure we're not injuring ourselves. One thing I do, we'll have a few minutes in the beginning just to do some housekeeping. I'm going to be whipping up a protein shake. But if you are working out along with Priscilla, please be sure you have a stable chair. You can grab some light weights or something that you want to lift with. If you have a pillow or a rolled towel for a little bit of back support, and if you have something like a broom or a mop nearby that you can use for a little bit of balance. So you have some time to gather those items if you're going to be moving along for tonight.
So thank you again to our sponsors. We are grateful, especially to Westmark, Daiichi, GSK, and Lilly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
always by our side.
Wonderful.
And then we can put Erin front and center. She is ready to go with her protein shake.
Yeah.
Erin, I'm going to let you get us in your kitchen. Let's see what you got.
Okay, this is a good one. So this is, I was looking for something that's really great for recovery after exercise, and I wanted something seasonal. So I found a really great recipe, sort of played with it a little bit, and created a tropical colada protein smoothie. So very timely for summer, really refreshing, but has all of those really important nutrients that we want to think about after we exercise, after we move our muscles. So before we jump into the ingredients, I just want to share a little bit about why this is important, why we want to think about what we're consuming after we work out with Priscilla, after we take an exercise class, after we, do some Pilates or bar, or whatever it is that you enjoy. We want to think about why this is important because as we're exercising, as we're moving, as we'll do tonight together, we're using or exhausting our carbohydrate, our glucose stores in our muscles. So we store energy for use in two places, in our muscles, in our liver, and then we've got some circulating in our bloodstream. So when we're using our muscles, we're pulling that energy that we store through in our muscles so that we can continue to do the activity at hand. Well, afterwards, we want to replenish that energy. But we're also stressing our muscles, stressing our joints, stressing our cardiorespiratory system. So we want to think about eating after exercise so we can help all of that recover and get ready for the next time that we're going to move. So we want to make sure that we're getting something that's nutrient dense, that has a variety of those important nutrients that I'll talk about. So there's a couple of priorities that we want to think about in our post-workout meal or snack, whatever that may be, smoothie or otherwise. So number one, like I said, we want to consume carbohydrates to replenish those energy stores that we just used. We want to consume protein so that our body can begin to repair the muscles so they can get stronger. And again, they can get ready for that next activity. We want to think about consuming both fluid and sodium, so rehydrating. When we sweat, and I think, for those of us in the East Coast, it has felt like summer the last several days. As we sweat, the primary electrolyte that we lose is salt. We lose a little bit of potassium, but mostly, if you ever taste your sweat, it tastes salty. And that's because we're losing salt through it. So you want to make sure that whatever you're consuming or drinking has some salt in it, especially if you are a heavy sweater or you're doing a prolonged activity outside. That's where we're really going to lose a lot of that sweat. And then we want to make sure that we're drinking our water for rehydrating. And then you want to make sure that whatever you're consuming after your workout, you're doing it in a timely manner. Timing is important because after we exercise, we run the risk of our blood sugar dropping because we've used some of those stores. We're pulling from our glucose that's circulating in our bloodstream. And so if we don't replenish that in the next 30, 45 minutes at most after a workout, we can feel a little jittery. We can feel those symptoms of low blood sugar. So we want to make sure that when we're doing an activity, we're consuming at least a little something shortly after we finish that exercise. So what do we want to look for? So in terms of how much we need after a workout, it'll really vary depending on the intensity of it. But a good general recommendation is 0.25 grams to 0.4 grams per kilogram of body weight. So you're probably like, well, I don't know what my weight is in kilogram. All you have to do is take your weight in pounds and divide it by 2.2. So as an example, if we were looking at a 150-pound adult, divided by 2.2 is 68 kilograms, give or take a little bit. So if we wanted to find that ideal protein range of how many grams we want after a workout, we're going to take 68 times 0.25. We're going to find a lower range of about 17 grams. 68 times 0.4 is about 27. So depending on the intensity of your workout, you want to shoot for having 17 to 27 grams of protein, ideally after a workout. If you're doing something a little lighter, a little shorter, and you want to have something smaller, closer to that 17 is fine. If you're going for more intense, something that's a little bit longer of a time frame, try to shoot for that 27-ish grams. It's a general recommendation. I would say don't sweat it if you're like not necessarily hitting the mark. The fact that you're ingesting protein at all is really key. And then with that, you want to have some carbohydrates, right? So you want to shoot for at least 2 times the grams of carbohydrate as protein. So if we're having 17 grams of protein, like our smoothie tonight has about 16 grams, times 2 is 34, 2 from 17. So we want to shoot for something that has at least 34 grams of carbohydrate. Again, as long as your snack or your meal contains some form of carbohydrate for energy replenishment, I think that's a good thing. But if you're paying attention to numbers, that'll give you a good idea of where you are. So hopefully, and I can put that in the chat once I get to my computer, but that'll give you an idea of, what's an adequate amount of nutrients post-exercise to really set you up for success so that you can continue to get stronger and feel good through your workouts. So let's whip up this tropical colada smoothie. Like I said, this particular smoothie has about 16 grams of protein, but you can see there's a lot of ways that we can adjust this to up that number if you want to. So first ingredient is some frozen fruit. I'm using a blender. You can use any sort of blender cup. So this will be on our blog if it is not already. I've got 1 cup of frozen mango here, and I've got 1 cup of frozen pineapple. If you don't have frozen and you're using fresh, no big deal. Just grab a towel. You can add some ice cubes to this to make it nice and slushy. So we've got 2 cups of fruit. We're going to get some good carbohydrate from our fruit. I'm adding 8 ounces or 1 cup of a vanilla kefir. So I really love the vanilla flavor. It gives me that colada sense. And so 1 cup of kefir, which is a fermented dairy product, has about 8 grams of protein. Now, I know in making this, I like to add a little bit more water to this because I like to thin it out a little bit. So I'm just going to add a little bit, but this is where you can sort of, personal preference comes into play. All right, so I added a little bit of water. Next, we're going to add some almond butter. So I like this because, again, we're adding some protein. So I'm going to use about 1 tablespoon, which has about 4 grams of protein, but we're getting some healthy fat. We're getting some carbohydrates, and the flavor isn't going to take up too much of the protein smoothie, so it still keeps that fruity colada flavor. I have half a banana here, so this will lend itself to being really smooth and creamy, so texture plus, again, good fiber, good carbohydrate. I've got 1 tablespoon of hemp seeds. So this, I always say, if you're making a smoothie, add a seed. So hemp seeds are a great source of plant protein. So 1 tablespoon has about 4 grams. This was a heaping tablespoon. The serving on the bag is 3 tablespoons, which will give you about 10 grams of protein. So if you want to add more than a tablespoon, by all means, go for it. They blend really lovely. The flavor is very mild, so it's not going to disrupt the flavor of the entire smoothie. And then I've got a little dash of vanilla. So just a little bit, half a teaspoon or so of vanilla extract. I'm going to put my lid on it and we're going to give it a blend. And then this is where you can sort of, personal preference comes into play. Do I want it to be a little thinner? I'll add some water to it. Do I want it to be a little bit thicker? I can add some ice cubes to it. So you really sort of play with what works for you. So let me make sure this is on tight so that I don't end up with tropical smoothie all over my kitchen cabinets. That would be a bummer. And then we'll just blend this. Perfect. Okay. And I'll grab a glass. So this is nice and thin. Actually, it's a little thicker. It's really beautiful. But I see a little bit of the hemp seeds in here, but not too much. And what we have is this beautiful tropical smoothie.
Looks amazing, Erin.
Oh my gosh, so easy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's delicious. I love it. I love frozen pineapple, frozen mango. Really, really good. So, protein smoothie to enjoy after our workout. Questions?
Yeah. Do you need to use ground flax or do you want the whole seeds when you put in flax?
Great question. So flaxseed is actually a dual purpose seed. So if you consume it whole, we're not able to break down the actual seed. However, consuming it whole can be great for constipation. It's a hearty fiber, so it can help sort of act as a fiber to move things along. However, if you want to get all of the beautiful nutrients, the omega-3 fatty acids, the good protein from it, we have to grind it. So you can either buy whole flaxseed and grind it on your own, or you can buy flax meal already, keep it stored in your refrigerator, but then you're getting all of those beautiful nutrients. So great question, dual purpose. Can you use other types of nuts or seed butters? Oh yeah, absolutely. So if nut butters are out, so you have a tree nut or a peanut allergy, you could use a sunflower seed butter, or you could just play with other variations. Peanut butter, you can use tahini, which is really mild, made from sesame seeds. That's also a really good source of calcium. So you're supporting bone health as well as your strength training exercises that Priscilla will show us. But yeah, you can certainly play with that a little bit. And the flavor's so mild, you don't even know it's in there with the 1 tablespoon. Again, a standard serving on a package, on a container, is 2 tablespoons. So, you know, we could up that protein content from 4 grams to 8 grams per serving. So you've got a lot of wiggle room to really build this as you would like.
And then how about using like a powdered almond butter, which I have not heard about, Erin? I haven't heard that.
I have not. So I'll tell you, I used to buy a powdered peanut butter. Trader Joe's always made it, which if you're someone that is watching the amount of calories you're consuming, maybe you're working with your physician or with your health provider to maintain or get to a healthy weight, and just being mindful of calories. That's a good way to, because it's dehydrating the peanuts or the almonds essentially. So you're getting the protein, but you're not getting the other calories. I'll be perfectly honest, I have not seen a powdered almond butter product out there, but I'm not surprised that it exists. You could use that as well. That would be perfectly fine.
And then can you suggest a non-dairy replacement, Erin, for the kefir?
Absolutely. So 2 replacements. One, you could just do a non-dairy yogurt. So a coconut-based or an almond-based or whatever other non-cow's milk type of yogurt. Also, there are some brands that use non-dairy milks as a kefir. I think Califia Farm is one brand that has a kefir that's almond milk based. So you're still getting that probiotic. Now, the difference is you're not getting the amount of protein. So the other non-dairy products don't have the same degree of protein outside of soy milk. So just know that if you are swapping, the protein content may shift a little bit. So you just want to read that nutrition label on the back of the package.
Awesome. We had a couple, like if they're using fresh fruit, do you add ice?
Yep.
Is that going to help? Okay.
Yeah. Great. So that would help create that smoothie sort of creamier texture that we would get from frozen fruit. So yeah, if you want to use fresh, you know, you have beautiful fresh fruit, and it's in the summer, by all means, go for it.
And then I feel like our last question is, where do you buy vanilla kefir?
I bought it at my local market. This brand, so this particular brand is Siggy's. They make a
I
vanilla.
like them. Yeah.
Trader Joe's has it, you know, and I went with the vanilla again because I think it lends itself to this sort of culotta flavor profile that I was going for. But you can also use a plain and then just use a little bit of
Yeah.
that vanilla extract. There are
Perfect.
other flavors if you wanted. So lots of ways that you can play with it. But I like sort of again that gut health boost that you get from the fermented product, and it adds a little tang if you like that little tang taste on the back end. It's really lovely.
All right. I think that was it. I see Jody said that Wawa actually carries it too. So,
Oh, there you
if
go.
they're on the,
Love that.
our friends on the West Coast, they don't know what Wawa is. So,
But you
Wawa
can
is an
really
East Coast thing.
you can get it at most grocery stores, so you don't have to go to a
Yeah.
special
Yeah.
market. I found it at my neighborhood market, so it's not something that is difficult to find.
And then Cecilia was just wondering how many smoothies can you drink in a day, Erin? So I feel like a smoothie can be very filling, and sometimes can take the place of
Yeah,
a meal.
yeah. Depending on what you put in it, I mean, you could add greens. You could do a lot to really bulk up and make it more like a meal. So I mean, how many can you drink in a day? I mean, in theory, you could replace each meal with a smoothie. I don't know that that's necessarily the best thing because you may be
Joyful.
losing out
Yeah.
on some of your other food options. I don't necessarily know that I would add like roasted sweet potatoes to my smoothies, right? So it may be limiting in terms of your food choices that you would add, but there is a great way to get some really nutrient dense foods in fruits and vegetables, like I said, leafy greens, different types of seeds. So the benefit of just sort of blending and the ease at which you can consume it. If you're traveling, if you're running out the door to work, if you prefer just to sip on something, it lends itself to being really convenient for a person.
Okay, I think that does it. I
I
think we're
love
ready
that.
to bring on, yeah, I think we're
Let's
ready
get
to bring on
moving. I'm ready to
Priscilla.
move.
Yes, let's get
Yeah.
moving.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
That
All
looks
right, thank you,
so
Erin.
delicious.
Yeah.
It looks so
All right,
delicious.
Priscilla, you are going to
Hi.
be up. I feel like I can give you a little bit of a bio and introduction, but I have a feeling you have a lot of fans in the group and you don't need an introduction. But
That's
but
super.
I will do this. Priscilla is actually one of our providers and a very loved provider. She was at our Bloom fashion show yesterday with 2 tables full of all of her fans, and not yesterday, sorry. Whew, you know how my day's going, my week's going on Sunday. But she is an ACE cancer exercise specialist, cancer and fitness certified instructor, a yoga instructor, and a cancer survivor. And Priscilla founded her Stronger Through Cancer to provide a home fitness class for all abilities and to give like a supportive community. And we are really grateful to have you, Priscilla. So I'm going to let you take it away. Let's get moving.
Thank you, Sue. That was really nice to hear. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm super glad that the number didn't go down and that you're all here. I hope this will be fun. I do really quickly just want to go over a couple of things, making sure that you have a sturdy seat. You might even want, like I have a bolster behind me, like a rolled towel or a pillow, and I'll explain why. Always, always, always have water, and yeah, have a sense of fun, okay? I'm gonna remind you to take breaks throughout, and meet yourself where you are. That's what I'm all about. I'm not trying to like, change your body necessarily. I'm trying to make life easier for you. And Erin did ask me to go over, just a couple of things about why strength training in particular is important when you are dealing with cancer. So I do want to say a few things about that. The first thing is increasing our muscle mass, right, can help protect us against things like osteoporosis, which certain treatments, chemotherapies can cause, the weakening of our bones. The other thing is regular strength training and exercise reduce our inflammatory markers. So those are things that are going to contribute to cardiovascular disease, diabetes, certain cancers for sure, and even some neurodegenerative diseases. That's a lot coming out of my mouth. So, what does that all mean? It's a lot of words. It means it's good for you and it helps your body fight other diseases, not just cancer. And then you know, there's a lot of research. It's like a Google search away, you guys. There's a lot of research now coming out about one of the better predictors for better outcomes when you're dealing with cancer is muscle mass. So walking is great, and dancing is great, and yoga, which I love and will never give up, is so great. But strength training is really something that you need to bring into your life on a regular basis, okay? And my members know this because I say this all the time. I just think it's very cool to know this little term. The other thing that happens when we strength train, when we contract our skeletal muscle, is we release myokines. And they're not really a known one. Like, we all know dopamine, and we all know like serotonin and, you know, endorphins, but myokines are amazing because they flood the body and they nourish the bones whenever you're contracting those muscles. They nourish the bones, they nourish your brain, and they help you absorb nutrients more efficiently. So like what Erin was just saying, right? We're eating to exercise, and we're exercising and then eating. We want those myokines to be in there doing their job. So those are the reasons. And then, you know what? It makes us feel better. It makes daily activities easier. We want that for sure. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be in the seat for the whole thing, all right? I'm gonna put on some royalty-free music, so it might not be my favorite music, it might not be your favorite music, but that's okay. And then I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, we're gonna be doing intervals. So it'll be 30 seconds of work with 30 seconds of rest. But first, we're gonna have about a 10-minute warm-up, all right? So you're in that seat, and I'm gonna turn my timer on and my music on, and we're gonna get into it, all right? The clock is moving, and the music is coming. The glasses are coming off. All right, you guys. First thing I want you to do is just roll the shoulders for me, all right? We're gonna be warming up all of the muscles that we're gonna use. So we're not just doing this to do it. We're doing this to get them ready for the workout. Let's change the direction. And please, somebody say it in the chat. If you can't hear me, because I do have a fan blowing, because I'm very hot already. Menopause, right? Okay, such a good time. All right, hit those shoulders, let them relax for a minute, and then let's start doing some pelvic tilts. We want to release the fluid, the lymph fluid in the pelvis and in the abdomen. So you're seated and you're just tucking your pelvis, tucking your tailbone, and releasing. So we're just kind of rocking on the hip like that, right? Back and forth. We will be doing some core. So this is excellent, but also we want to release lymph because we don't want lymphatic fluid to get stagnant. All right. Good, couple more. Nice, and then let's take a little lateral stretch. Take your right arm up and over. Hold on to that left leg. Right leg with the left arm. Good, and then make a big spin. Now, if you can't go overhead, right, you got a grumpy shoulder or limited range of motion, you can go across the chest and then just spin the arm down and across the chest, right? So you're not holding it too long and you're kind of making a big circle and then going back. Good. And then we're going to do the other side, same way, right? Already feeling good because things are getting loosened up, right? Good, couple more. Doesn't matter how many circles you make. Doesn't matter what you look like either. Don't worry about that. Get rid of that. All right, now let's do a couple of door presses here. Put your arms up. We're gonna press back, open up our chest, and then relax. Back. Nice, and relax. One or two more. Relax. Good. Maybe one more. Nice. All right, then we're gonna move down to the legs. The first thing I want you to do, and this is why that bolster is great, is you can sit right against it, lean back a little bit, take your right leg forward, and let's just point and flex the foot. Point and flex the foot. So we're kind of priming the ankle, but we're also starting to warm up the muscles along the shin bone, getting into the quad. Good. And then we'll do the other side. Point and flex. You got it. Okay, the warm-up is going to start to get a little more active, okay? You ready? At the very edge of your seat for me. Make sure you're right there, almost like you're falling off. I don't want you to fall off. And we're going to start to walk in our seat. So I really want your knees to get up, and I want your arms swinging, but I also want you to have really good posture, right? Because we're activating the core. It's like we're power walking, which we are, in our chair. Make sure you're breathing. And by the way, you can take breaks whenever you need them. You're in your own house. If you need to take a break now, take a break now. Get water whenever you need it. If I need to remind you, I will try to remember, but you have to remember too. All right, so if you need water, if you need a break, that's your job. All right, we're still doing this. Get them way up there. Woo-dee-hoo, right? It's hot up here. Hot. Yes, indeed, hot. All right, new move. We're gonna stretch out these quads. And this is another reason that having that bolster there is really important, because sometimes when you extend the leg in a seated position, you round into the lower back. It's not gonna feel good, then you're not using your core, you're gonna end up with back pain, okay? So you wanna make sure you feel that support, and this is what it's gonna look like. You're gonna extend the right leg and push with the left hand, extend with the left leg and push with the right hand. Just like you're pushing something away. Woo! Nice. Toes up. Flex that foot.
What is this?
Just a reminder, if you're home and you haven't muted, unmute because we can hear everything. Make sure you're muted. Couple more. Nice. All right, new move. We're going to tap out to the side. And when we do that, we're going to take the same arm and push to the opposite side. So it's going to look like this. All right? You don't have to tap that far out either. Maybe you're right here. Okay? Woo! Waking up those obliques, the side muscles of the abs, right? Woo! Woo! Keep the hand open. Keep the fingers wide. Only a couple minutes left, you guys. You're doing great. That's of the warm-up, not the whole thing. Keep going. And listen, if my tempo is too fast, you can slow it down. Remember, meet yourself where you are. You don't have to make it look like this. I'm getting water. 2 minutes left in this warm-up. Let's finish this one out with 4 more starting right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Walk in place. Good. How you feel? Good? Tight, tight, tight. Sit up nice and tall. Turn on all the muscles. All right, we're going to activate the core muscles a little bit. Relax those legs. You're going to make your hands in a little bit of a diamond shape here. Start down here and bring them up as high as you can. And when you're doing that, think about trying to zip up from your pubic bone to your sternum. So that's from right about here to right about here, right? You're zipping it up. Yes, zip it up. Zip. Zip. You got it. Now we're going to add a little bit of difficulty. So if this is hard enough, just keep doing this. All right? The difficulty is going to be a knee lift. Whew. Yep. Just like that. Tighten up those lower abs. Woo, woo, woo. Everything is speaking to me. Yes. All right, 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Good. Walk it out. So we're just lifting the feet. We're not going for a power walk. We're just catching our breath, coming back. Good. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. And there you go. All right. I'm going to pause this clock. Good. And I'm going to pause this music for just a second. I want you to get water. All right. Now, a couple of things. We're going to do a full set of 8 moves. And in between each set, I'm going to have us kind of stop, get some water, and assess how we feel. We never say scan because nobody likes the word scan. So we're going to assess, not scan, assess how we feel. And this is really important because this is how we build stamina, you guys. I don't want anybody being like, oh, I'm going to do the whole thing, and then you pass out because you're just exhausted. And what will happen is you're not going to want to do anything for days, right? What I want is for you to feel like you lit a little fire, but, you know, you can kind of keep at it, or you need to dial back, and I'll walk you through that when we get there. So first 2 moves actually are going to be a little bit easier, and then the following moves will get a little bit harder. Not necessarily in that order, but the first 2 are easier, and they require no weights. You don't have to have weights for anything that we're going to do, but of course, if you are, you know, starting to really take this seriously, you might want to get some, and you can get, you know, very cheap ones nowadays, but you could also use anything in your pantry, right? A couple of cans or filled bottles of water. 30 on, 30 at rest, all right? The first move is going to be a pizza slider. So we're just going to take our arms forward, and then we're going to pull them back and squeeze the backs of our shoulders together. Let's go. Good. Just like that. So a lot of times when we've had any surgery in the breast area, our posture can suffer and our pectoris muscles can get kind of spastic because we're deviating forward, right? So we want to open them up as best we can. Good. And guess what? You get to rest right there. How nice is that? 30 seconds of rest, 30 seconds of work. And this is where I get excited because the first round, everybody's like, I got this, I got this. And by the second round, you're kind of like, oh, I feel this. So we will take the breaks, okay? Let's get this one going here. This next move, our heels are under our knees. All we're gonna do is heel lifts. You can put weights on your legs if you want to make it harder. But the first 2 are easier, remember? So you're gonna just lift and lower. Lift and lower. Up and down. Up and down. Just like that. Might also start to feel nice if you've got any peripheral neuropathy in the feet to stretch through the feet like this. 3 seconds, 2, 1, and rest. Yay. Now I'm going to grab my weights. If you're using weights, you can grab them. And for the next one, you're going to need them on your legs, all right? We're sitting at the very edge still, right? And what we're going to do is lift our knees, alternating with the weights on our legs. We did this in the warm-up, right? So you can also get rid of the weights if you want to. 5 seconds of rest left. Deep breathing. Psych yourself up. Here we go. Now, don't round in that lower back to lift the knees, right? This is where you can push into that pillow behind you, or maybe you don't lift your knee that high, maybe you're lower, right? But you want to pay attention as you're lifting if you feel like you're rounding in your lower back, right? And what I mean by that is in order to lift, you're kind of like hunching, like, ugh, right? We don't need to do that. We are working not just the quads, but also the core. Rest, but keep the weights there. Good job, everybody. You're doing it. All right, we got clamshells coming up. So you're gonna bring the inside edges of your feet together. Still have the weights on our legs. If you had a resistance band, this would also be really nice to do with a resistance band, okay? 5 seconds of rest. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. You're gonna open and squeeze. Open and squeeze. I want you to imagine that you are pushing into a giant beach ball as you're squeezing. Nice and tall, right? Sitting up nice and tall, activating the core muscles. 5, 3, and relax, rest. And you can just tuck those feet back behind you because we're going to move up to upper body. And I like to tell people a lot when you're doing anything around the upper body, if you have a tendency, again, to round in the lower back, instead of using core muscles, right, then you want to kickstand your feet like this. 1 foot forward, 1 back, okay? Arms are going to be down low, roll the shoulder blades back, and the round part of the weight is forward. These are alternating hammer curls. So you're bringing the round part of the weight up to the shoulder. Beautiful. Nice and tall in the trunk. Isolating the muscles of the arms. Starting to feel it maybe. Especially if you're using heavier weights. Some of you know who you are, right? Good. Rest. Boy, that rest feels nice, doesn't it? All right, so we did alternating hammer curls. Now we're going to do single bicep curls, but we're going to do them a little differently, right? So for a bicep curl, your palms are forward rather than the round part. Shoulders are back, but we're going to do sort of an offset hammer curl. So I want you to take your weights and take them to about 45 degrees, right, away from the body, and then have your arms bent at about 90 degrees. Bring them up from there, and then return them. So this is a little harder because when you're returning to 90 degrees, you're forcing your muscles to hold that weight rather than going all the way down, right? So it's slightly isometric. While you're still moving, you're working even in that semi-rest position. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. I know it. Okay, rest. Woo! Roll the shoulders back for me. Gotta make sure I can read my own writing. Okay, good. The last 2 moves. I can see them. I can see them. Again, you're kickstanding the feet if you need to. And we're going to do what I call luggage lifters. I'm sure there's a different name. I don't know all the technical names. For this, you want to hinge your torso slightly forward, so you're at a little bit of an angle. And then you lay these alongside you just like this. And what you'll do is lift them, like you're lifting luggage. And when you lift, you're going to squeeze the backs of the shoulders, right? We're lifting to about hips, maybe a little higher. Woo! Squeeze. When you bring them up, squeeze for me. Yes, indeed. And listen, the nice thing about intervals, rest, is that you can do as many as you want in that interval period. So if you're really starting out, fresh, maybe you have no history of this, or you're just really deconditioned, maybe you're only doing like 3 to 5 during the 30 seconds. That's okay. We got tricep extenders right here. So we're still in this hinged forward position. Our arms are going to be bent at our sides. And then when I say go, go, you're going to take them back and then bend them again. So they're going straight back, bend them again. Straight back. You are working the back of the bicep, right? It's a hard area to get to. Just ask any teacher, right? Because when you're writing on the wall or on the chalkboard, how many of us remember the sort of teacher jiggle? I know. Rest. I was a teacher, so I can say that. All right, so I'm going to pause the clock. You're going to get water. That was 1 set, you guys. That was 1 set. Amazing. I think we're only gonna probably have time for 2, so that's okay. You're probably like, shoo, I didn't wanna do 3 sets, so that's fine. So get your water and see how we feel, right? I'm glowing and sweating. And then if you feel like, okay, I got a little more fuel in the tank, I've got my water, got my breath, I'm not sweating too bad, I can do this next set, then you're gonna start with me all over. Remember, the first move was the pizza slider, but you still have 25 seconds of rest right there. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. I don't know what that said, right? Sorry. All right. Maybe I should read it. I'll read it. I don't know if it was for me.
I put your link in, Priscilla, real quickly to the Stronger Thru Cancer website. So if anybody's interested, and you can use your passport for this. So if you're loving this, I just want to make sure I had that in there.
Thank you, Erin. Okay, slide that pizza. Ooh, squeeze. There you go. Now you could always do this with a weight, you guys, but I personally think it's a lot on our pec muscles. And many of us are still, you know, we're still recovering here. So I wouldn't incorporate weights into this move until I was really strong enough to do it. And you wouldn't actually be doing it the same way. It would be more of like a chest press, right? Good, rest. That's right, the second move, we're still not using weights, I forgot. So rest, breathe, listen. The other thing you can do, guys, as you start to get stronger, a lot of my members, when we're at the rest period, we're still moving. We're walking in place, right? So you could be doing that too. If this feels too easy, there's always ways to make it harder, I promise you, right? So that's another thing. If you're not like, I don't need to rest, then you just keep moving. Here we go. Heels are under our knees. We're just lifting our heels and lowering. Lift and lower. And this is not always the same interval set, right? 30 on, 30 off. I mix it up. Sometimes we'll do like 45 on, 15 off. It just kind of varies. This is just an example, and because there's so many of you, I wanted to make sure there's plenty of rest time. Okay, relax. We're gonna get the weights if we're using them. We're gonna place them on our thighs, making sure that we're sitting at the very edge of the seat, and that we have that support pillow behind us to remind us not to round in our lower back. We have about 10 seconds left, and then we're just lifting one leg at a time. Sit up nice and tall for me. Tone that belly. Here we go. Right here. Woo! Yeah. This is when you start to feel it, right? As soon as we get the weights involved, it gets real. Woo-dee-hoo! You're doing great, though. You're doing great. And you know what? You're going to feel great after this. That's the greatest part about it, frankly. Even on those off days when you're like, gosh, I don't want to do it. You do it, rest, and you feel better. You feel like you've put your finger in an energy socket. It really does happen. Ask anybody that's done this with me long enough. They'll tell you, like, I didn't think I could do it, and then I did it, and I felt so much better. All right, clamshells coming up. Inside edges of your feet, the big toe side of your feet, are together. You have the weights on there, or you could use a resistance band. And remember, when we open, it's not just swinging them closed, we're squeezing. We're pretending that we're trying to pop that giant beach ball. Woo! Yes, indeed. Feeling it, feeling it, feeling it. Make sure you're breathing so you're not holding your breath. And rest. Good job, good job, good job. And it sounds funny to say make sure you breathe, but we do have a tendency, especially when we're just starting out, to kind of hold our breath when we're doing this, when we're exerting, and you don't want to do that. You will feel it. It will feel like a nervousness setting in, right? Okay, arms alongside you. Roll your shoulders back. The round side of the weight, or the round part of the fist, is shining out, and we are alternating our hammer curls. Here we go. Up and down. Up and down. Continual movement. Ooh, yeah. Good. Make sure your posture is nice and tall. You're sitting up nice and strong. Great job. Whew. I am sweating like a you-know-what in a you-know-where. Oh my goodness. It's like August here. All right, relax, rest. It's not just menopause, it's the temperature. All right. We have an offset bicep curl, right? So remember, they're shining out. We are moving them out from our body to about 45 degrees, and we're bending in the arm at about 90. So our elbow is in line with our wrist, right? And then it's just a matter of bringing it up and squeezing and bringing it back down. Good. Kickstand that foot if you need to. If you start to feel like, why does my lower back hurt? Remember to keep that core ignited. Turn the ignition on. It's not just pulling in your belly, by the way, right? There's 4 parts to our core, and for ease, it's front, back, side, side. So you want to think about kind of rest. You want to think about kind of not just pulling in and up, but hugging inward like you're trying to tighten up a old-fashioned corset or something. Your ribs should actively feel like they're being pulled in. Okay, we're almost there. Luggage lifters coming up. So we're hanging the arms down, rolling back, and then we're hinging forward. So we're at an angle so that we can get a proper lift, right? And when you lift up and you squeeze the backs of the shoulders and down. That's it. Good. Doing really good, you guys. This music is a little too low key for me. But you know what? That's the nice thing about it. You can do it to your own music. It should be motivating. This is not necessarily motivating me, but that's all right. Rest. It doesn't have to be right now. You're motivating me. But yeah, if you need that, right? That's why everybody likes to listen to their own music when they work out, because it is a motivator. So, you know, you might need to like mute me after a while and put your own music on. All right, our final move is a tricep extender. So remember, you're still in that hinge position, but now your arms are bent with the weights here, and you're sending them straight back. Straight back. 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 Good. So good. Hooty-hoo. Yes, indeed. Feeling it. Good. Keep it up. 3, 2, and done. Drop them. Get on up out of that seat. Get some water. And we are going to cool down with a little tiny bit of movement, and then we're done. I had 3 sets planned, but it might have been bad math. I think 2 sets is a great kind of intro. And in the interest of time, I don't want to rush a 3rd set just to get it in, okay? So know that, like if you really liked that and you could remember them, you could just do it. But also know that when I teach the classes to my Stronger members, we're generally we go over all the time. That's the easiest way for me to say it. We go over, because if I had 3 sets in mind, we're going to go through 3 sets. That doesn't mean that you're like getting pressured to do 3 sets. Because again, you're going to meet yourself where you are, and I'm meeting you where you are, right? So this is about you. You take breaks in between, you assess how you feel. Maybe you feel like I can still do it, but then you could just slow it all down. And again, the nice thing about intervals, you don't have to do 30 reps in 30 seconds. You could maybe see how 3 feel, right? All right, so little stretch out. Oh dear. Can't read without my glasses.
It's just me, but Jody also loves it. So yeah, don't worry.
Oh, awesome. Okay, good. All right, so let's make sure that we always properly cool down. As important as the warm up is the cool down. You want to stretch everything out. We could stay in the seat. Let's do that. And what I actually like to do when I cool down is a modification of the warm up, right? So remember that little tap out with the thing here? We're gonna do that, but statically, so we're not gonna do it moving. So right leg out and push that right arm out to the left, like you're pushing somebody away from you. And just hold. And then bring the arm out like you're, you know, kind of like dancing with an attitude, right? In and out. Give me some attitude. Yes. Good. And then relax the arm and dip that knee in and out. So you're getting into your hip flexor a little bit here too. It doesn't have to be as wide as mine either. Just a little rocking. Good. All right, and then we'll do the other side same way. So the left leg is out. We're taking the left arm. We're pushing off to the right, holding, like get away, right? And then take it out and across and back. Out and across. And back. Yes. And then relax the arm and dip that knee in and out. Oh yeah. Hip flexors. They can be tight. Good. And then walk them in. Lean back into that seat. We're going to take the right leg forward. Toes up. Hold here. And then point and hold there. Flex the foot. Toes up. Point the foot, hold there. One more time. Flex, and point, and down she goes. And then we do the other leg. Hold with the toes up, and then point, toes up, point, toes up, point, and down she goes. Beautiful. All right, back to the shoulders, fingertips up here. Big sweeping circles. See if you can bring those elbows either to touch or even near each other. And then back. Yepper-do. Beautiful. And then we're going to change the direction. So we're going to start back here and bring them in and out. In and out. Good. Good. Last one. Beautiful. All right. Feet forward, arms forward. Play a little piano for me. Wiggle those fingers. And then bring the hands down. Now shift yourself forward just a smidge more. Nothing dramatic, but enough that if you lean back, you feel your core activate a little bit here. Arms forward again, shoulders back. Play the piano. Nice. So maybe you feel a little stretch in the abs here. Let's activate it more. Make that little diamond shape and bring the arms up. Hold if you can. If it's too much to bring your arms overhead, you could also do this with your arms out. Okay? Don't hold your breath. And bring them down. One more, like that. Up or out, hold. So hopefully you're leaning back just a smidge. You're not holding your breath. And release. And then the final thing that I want you to do is I want you to go like this and like this. Little lat slaps, right? Because these suckers, they get really tight, but also it's a good way to sort of give yourself a little, hey, I just did that. Yeah, I did. I just did that thing, because you did. And hopefully it felt really good. And that's it. Dear. Did it just end abruptly? I'm so sorry.
No, not at all.
Oh,
not at all.
okay.
You're
My
good.
screen went black, so I was like, oh, crap.
Not at all.
Good. Well, that was hopefully, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you felt like you were challenged and it wasn't too easy, but it also wasn't too hard. And I really and truly hope that you'll check out Stronger Through Cancer, because I would love to welcome you to this community. truly, it's now more about the community than it is about me at all. They are amazing. They are so supportive. And we have a member all the way out in Hawaii and all the way across the continent, not continent, silly, all the way across the country to Maine. So that's pretty amazing. And they're all connecting with each other. So, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for letting me do this.
That was wonderful. Priscilla, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. If anyone has any questions for
Right.
Priscilla or movement, feel free to take another minute or so and you can come off of mute or put them in the chat. But hopefully this was a really great opportunity to see that we can all move, we can all be strong. And as much as you can use your wellness passport for this, Priscilla, you're open to the general public as well. So
Yeah,
anyone can connect with you and take your classes.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Yes, indeed. And you can also tell anyone you know who is dealing with any other types of cancers. I don't only work with people who have breast cancer or ovarian cancer. I'm a cancer exercise specialist, so there's no postscript that it's just that. So if you know you have friends that are dealing with another type of cancer and you know this would benefit them, you can send them along too.
Wonderful.
Thanks so much, you guys. I hope you have a great night.
Yeah.
You are.
So good. Thank you for kicking off this month, Priscilla. And I put the link in the chat, so hopefully you will see that, and you can reach out directly to Priscilla if you have any classes.
Amazing.
How do you use your passport for these classes? Marta, I can reach out to you directly and we can help you get set up if you want to use your passport squares for a membership with her.
Mm-hmm. And you could also email me, Marta, and go from there.
Perfect.
Yep.
Priscilla, what's the email address? I'll put it
in there. I'll put it in.
Fabulous. Okay. So while she's doing that, I do want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. This was the best way to start May. And hopefully everybody will sleep well tonight, get some hydration, get some protein in, come back and take this workout on your own. Remember, it's going to be in her library. So if this is an intro for you, you can come back tomorrow and do it again. So we would love to have you.
Awesome.
Yep. Benita, this will be in the library as early as tomorrow. So.
And thank you to my members who came. This meant Oh, Lori wants me to tell you about empowerment. I teach 2 non-physical classes as well, you guys. I don't teach them. One is Coffee Talk, where every other Monday, we just literally do that. We just have coffee and talk. And then we've also started doing once a month, a happy-ish hour. Happy-ish hour. But Lori wants me to tell you about empowerment, which is on Fridays from 3 to 3:45. It's empowerment and mindfulness and meditation. And the idea behind empowerment is ways to find out how to show up a little brighter in our lives and find out, kind of focus on the things that are maybe holding us back from that. So the idea is, a lot of gratitude journaling and positive reading prompts and writing prompts and group shares. And it's really magical. It's really magical.
Perfect. And actually that prompts one other question, and Miriam, we'll put Priscilla's email in the chat, but you teach a lot of different classes, Priscilla. So why don't you just share a little bit of what everyone has access to with Stronger Thru Cancer?
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't do that. Thank you, Erin. So yeah, I teach cardio and strength, which is not as scary as it sounds, okay? Resistance, seated strength, stronger circuit, which is encompasses everything I teach. It's a little bit of everything. Gentle yoga, chair yoga, and working with balance. And those are the physical classes. And not every week do I have all of them, right? I try to do between 6 and 8 a week. So it's a good variety. And the Stronger Circuit class is a great starter class because it encompasses everything. We do a tiny bit of cardio, we do a little bit of strength, we do a little bit of balance, and we do a little bit of yoga. And the other thing that I think is really important is as I get to know my members, it's not personal training, but it is very individualized because I've been doing this for a long time. I mean, not this necessarily, but group fitness. I always say, what do you want? What are you feeling today? I come in with sort of a loose draft, but if somebody says to me, my neuropathy is nuts today, or my lymphedema is acting up, then I try to curate it for that. Right? Because that's the beautiful thing about my certifications and my knowledge base is that I can do that pretty quickly and make sure that you're safe. Because that's really the most important thing to me. And that's why I keep saying assess and take breaks, drink your water, and, you know, stay in touch with how you're feeling. Because I want you to keep doing it. And I've been injured enough to know if you get sidetracked, you're less likely to come back, right? Recovery is not fun in any
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. So
Wonderful. So lots of variety. There is something for everyone, and there's something to look forward to. So I love that, Maria. I love that. Yep. Are these all on Zoom? Yep, they're all virtual.
yeah. Yeah. They're all virtual, but your membership also gives you access to my video library, where I have at this point at least 350 classes for you in all different genres. So you have access to them, and you can do them if it doesn't fit your schedule, or, you know, something's going on with you and you don't feel like working out that day. You can still do that class when you feel like it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. So Priscilla, if you wouldn't mind putting your email in the chat. Otherwise we will wrap. Oh, I don't see it.
I did, but I'll do it again. That's okay.
It's a me problem is what it is. So that's all right. Wonderful. Well, we're a few minutes over, so I appreciate everybody hanging out. Priscilla, I appreciate you hanging out with us. That was amazing. So many good kudos. Hopefully some of you will get connected and tap into Stronger Through Cancer, and just continue to feel good. So we appreciate you being here. A wonderful way to start off the month. I love that. Yep. There we go. Stronger Through Cancer, gmail.com.
So much. Yep. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Sue.
All right.
Everybody.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Right.
And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night for our speaker series on sun safety and cancer. That's 6 p.m. Eastern time, also on Zoom. You can register at uniteforher.org. But that's also a very timely discussion that we'll have tomorrow night. So everyone, be sure you do your stretching and hydration, get your protein in, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone.